Hello, and thank you so much for joining me on an all-new episode of Savor This, brought to you by the team over at SavorThis. My name is Bianca, and I run a food blog called Lenox Bakery. I am so excited to be a part of Savor's Foodcast, Savor This. Today we're going to be making one of my favorite recipes. It is a sweet potato bread pudding. Super easy, comes together in minutes, and it is perfect for the holidays. So let's get started. This is like an Italian loaf. You can use brioche, you can use whatever you kind of have on hand, and we're just going to slice it in really big chunks. There's no rhyme or reason to it, so I'm just going to cut these up. It doesn't have to be perfect even pieces. All right, so I'm going to finish slicing these all up. All right, so now that we have our bread all cubed up, we're just going to put it right in our 9x13 pan, and I went ahead and just used some cooking spray for this. Like I said, you can use butter if you like, or you can use the cooking spray. So we have them all in here. Like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be the same size pieces. This is a super easy recipe. So we're going to set this aside and start our egg and milk mixture. So I have 4.5 cups of milk, and I have 6 eggs. Add a teaspoon of cinnamon, and then a ½ teaspoon of nutmeg. And then this, and then I have about a teaspoon and a half of vanilla extract. And then I have a half a cup of sugar and a half a cup of brown sugar. And then the star of the show, we have our 1 15-ounce can of sweet potato puree. Now you can use either one large sweet potato, boil it till it's completely cooked through. You'll know when it's cooked through, like if the pork can go straight through it, it's completely fine. And that usually takes about 10 to 15 minutes. You can use 1 large sweet potato or 2 medium-sized sweet potatoes if you can't find canned sweet potato. I'm going to first scramble up my eggs a little bit, and then it'll be a lot easier to incorporate into the milk mixture. So I'm just gonna, all right, so it's good. I'm just gonna pour it right into the milk mixture. And I usually just like to kind of mix as I'm pouring it in there. Next we are going to add the vanilla. Like I said, that was a teaspoon to about a teaspoon and a half. And then we are going to add our canned sweet potato. Just mix this up. All right. So now we're going to add our cinnamon and our nutmeg. So this is a teaspoon of cinnamon and then a ½ teaspoon of nutmeg. I'm just going to put that in there. And then just kind of work it into the mixture. Alright, so this is all together. And now, easy part. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to take this, keep all the bread in here. We're going to pour our egg, sweet potato, milk mixture right over top. So we're just going to take mixture and just pour it right over. All right, so now this is going to sit in this pan for about 20 minutes, just to let the bread soak up all that milk and egg mixture and everything, so all the bread pieces will be nice and delicious. So push the bread pieces down into that mixture just to make sure everything can be properly soaked. All right, so I'm gonna leave that here. I'm gonna cover this with some plastic wrap. Right. Now that the bread pudding is resting, I have about 15 more minutes before it's ready to be put in the oven, but I'm gonna make the topping. Super simple. It is just a 1/4 cup of unsalted butter. I have a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. I'm using dark brown sugar. You can use light brown, doesn't really matter. And then about a ½ cup of chopped pecans. Like I said, it's super easy. We're just gonna kind of mash this up The brown sugar is going to caramelize just so, like, ever so slightly, and it's going to just make a very delicious topping. Once our bread pudding is ready to go into the oven, we'll just sprinkle this right on top. All right, so it's been about 20 minutes, and I've let this bread pudding rest on the counter. So now it is just about time for it to bake. So we're just going to take the plastic wrap off, and then the topping that I made, I'm just going to just place it just randomly throughout the bread pudding. I like to just kind of put it wherever, and that way whatever piece you get like a nice delicious sugary piece. So there's no really rhyme or reason to kind of do it. So my oven is preheated at 350 degrees. This is going to go into the oven for about 45 to 50 minutes, just until the center is set. So we're just going to pop this in the oven, 350 degrees for 45 minutes. And you'll know when it's done when the center is all set, not jiggly at all. Alright, so while the bread pudding is baking, we're going to go ahead and make the brown sugar vanilla sauce that's going to go on top. I have a teaspoon of vanilla extract, but we're going to put this to the side because this is going to go in at the very end. I have a ½ cup of heavy cream. I have a ½ stick of unsalted butter. I have 3/4 cups of brown sugar, and then a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar. So I'm just going to dump this into my pot over here on the stove on medium heat, and we're just going to combine all the ingredients together. And the brown sugar goes. Like I said, the vanilla is going to go in at the very end. I like to put my butter in at the beginning just to kind of get it all melted. And again, this is a ½ stick of unsalted butter. So before I add the heavy cream, I like to kind of get this going, get it all mixed up. Low, and then I'm going to go ahead and add my heavy cream. This is a ½ cup of heavy cream. So just kind of mix that in there. So we're going to mix the brown sugar, and then I add the heavy cream and the butter. We're just going to kind of whisk this together for about a minute. By the time our bread pudding is done, this will be perfect and ready to go right on top. Alright, so I've let this cool for a few minutes on the counter. I'm just going to go ahead and add in my vanilla extract. Let's see here, but you can see that it's already a little bit thicker than when we took it off the stove top. We're going to let it sit here until the bread pudding is all done, and then we'll just pour this delicious sauce right on top. I just took the bread pudding out of the oven. Mine took a little bit longer than what it normally does, so I left it in there for an hour and 10 minutes. Around the 55-minute mark, I saw that the top was getting a little bit browner than I had wanted it to, so I just covered it with aluminum foil. But it is perfect. It is ready to dig into. First, I'm going to add that sauce that we made earlier. It thickened up so beautifully. It's almost like a caramel sauce. So we're just going to drizzle some of that over the bread pudding. I usually go for like the corner pieces because the bread gets slightly crisp and the center is like so soft and gooey and perfect. So all right, and that is it. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to have made this recipe with you all. Make sure you click on the link below to get all the details on this recipe.